And Commissioners, please ensure your microphones are on. Ms. Matias, we are live, we are streaming. You may proceed with this morning's public executive review session.
Let me know when you're ready.
Already.
Commissioner Shedder, you ready? Yeah. Okay. Barlow
Yes, you
can proceed?
Yes,
Okay, I was just waiting for everybody to be ready.
just make sure your microphone is on.
It's on now. Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals review session for January 12th, 2026. Please be reminded there's no public testimony during the review session. Please note for the record that Chair Shonda is absent and Commissioner Otley Brown will be joining us remotely. Decision items, item number 1, 532 BZ, 3102 Astoria Boulevard, Queens.
I believe this matter will be deferred.
Item number 2, 36065 BZ, volume 4, 108, 114 East 89th Street, Manhattan.
Have the other commissioners reviewed this case and do you have any questions?
I have no question.
No questions.
Then I pose that we grant this with the condition that BSA did not review any structural stability evaluation for the proposed building during the course of this application, as well as prior applications. The application project structural engineer shall evaluate the structural stability of the subject building to be enlarged in compliance with all applicable codes and regulations and shall submit such evaluation to the New York City Department of Buildings for review and approval. Further, that all prior board conditions shall remain in effect.
And I just want to caution DOB that this condition, the first one that you mentioned, Vice Chair, is added to the drawings. It's in bold font. It's big one. So please, DOB, be caution to review this. Thank you.
Everybody's mic is on? Okay. Okay, so motion to approve? Vice Chair Shabeta?
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown?
Aye.
Commissioner Shedder?
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon? Aye. Application has been granted. Item number 3, 188 BZ, 1593 Coney Island Avenue, Brooklyn.
Okay, has any commissioner have any questions or comments on this application? No. Then I propose that we vote to grant on the condition that the expansion project shall have a minimum of 28 dBA window to wall attenuation in all facades. HVAC type shall comply with all applicable laws and regulations as determined by Department of Building and other relevant agencies. All conditions to remain. No further, nothing further.
Motion to approve, Vice Chair Shabeta?
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown?
Aye.
Commissioner Shedder?
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon? Aye. Application has been granted. Item number 4, 6891 BZ, volume 4, volume 4, 223-15 Union Turnpike, Queens.
Thank you. Do any commissioners have any comments on this application?
No, they responded to the comments.
So everything has been submitted. I propose to grant this with a 4-year term to obtain a certificate of occupancy.
Okay. Motion to approve, Vice Chair Shabeta?
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown?
Aye.
Commissioner Shedder?
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon? Aye. Application has been granted. Item number 5, 2024-34 BZ, 815 Kings Highway, Brooklyn.
Okay, there was some outstanding EAS and landscaping plans. Commissioner Yoon, have you had the opportunity to review the landscaping plan?
I did, and we had a back and forth, but we, at this point, I'm okay with approving this case, but I want to add a condition that all sidewalk improvements that are proposed, including but not limited to street tree pits and planting strips, on these plans shall be subject to review and approval by DOT and DPR as required.
Does anyone else, any other commission have any comments on this application? No.
Okay,
The EAS looks fine.
Okay, so I suggest that we grant with the following conditions. That a total of 18 reservoir spaces shall be provided, of which a minimum 8 spaces shall be located on the ground floor. No vehicles shall block garage entry and exit areas and areas designated as no blocking area on the first floor. Sidewalks and curbsides shall not be used for parking, storing, or vehicular maneuvering. Curbside landscaping fronting the garage accessway shall be implemented, maintained pursuant to BSA approved plans. Landscaping shall be provided prior to obtaining permit for the garage operation. The parking facility shall be fully attended by a minimum of 2 valets. Valets shall operate the parking in the garage from the attendant booth situated on the first floor. And I further would like to adopt that all sidewalk that are approved shall be subject to approval by DOB and DPR.
motion to approve, Vice Chair Shabeta,
All right,
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. Item number 6, 2024-47A, 2315B, Demeyer Street, the Bronx.
one second, having a little difficulty opening up. Here we are. Just going through my notes, one moment. Okay, on this case, the question that we are limited today is, at the issuance of the CO, did this building comply with code? Respondents' argument that according to the city of Yes, the CO could possibly comply, but that is not the question before us. This does not preclude the applicant from applying for a new CO application under the city of Yes. Is there any comments or questions from any other commissioners on this application?
No, but you want to highlight the submission that we got on Friday on this?
You can.
Yeah, I saw a submission coming from the applicant council indicating that they need some time to apply for an SOR, second objection review. I believe they got a chance, more than enough time frame to do that. But I believe it's now like we have to move forward this case and just put it to rest.
Yeah,
So-
I would agree with that, but again, as I stated, the only question that we have before us today would not be remedied by that, by that action.
I totally agree, and that's why I'm saying we should move forward. Yes.
Anything further, council?
I just want to make it clear for the record that the applicant, sorry, the respondent's opportunity to legalize or cure any defect with a certificate of occupancy, there has not yet been adjudged to be a defect in the CO or.
So, I'm sorry,
to
Mr.
be
Vine.
legalized.
Mr. Vine, can you step back a little bit from the microphone? It's distorting. I'm sorry.
How's this? Is that better?
Yes, thank you. Sorry. Can you repeat what you said? It was a little
Sure.
unclear.
The respondent's opportunity to cure or legalize the certificate of occupancy, it's not yet ripe. The board hasn't determined and made a decision that the CO here is illegal or must be revoked, and therefore a cure must be obtained. Once the board does determine the underlying revocation action, if the board so determines the CO must be revoked, it will then be that owner's obligation to either challenge the board's determination or seek a cure, remedy, or legalization. It would not be appropriate at this juncture to seek such avenue, which is not required.
That makes sense. Thank you.
The only thing I wanted to clarify is I believe what was submitted was that the second objection review, the SOR, had been received and now they were requesting time to submit a CCD1.
And nothing that the board's determining here should,
They were requesting
prevent that
time for the
process.
SOR, they're requesting their time for the CCD1, that's all.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, I mispronounced it. Thank you.
No, it's a bunch of acronyms, but anyway, just to be clear.
Ready?
Yep.
The motion to approve?
Nay.
No, motion to approve.
Sorry, Vice Chair Shabeta?
I'm sorry.
A motion to approve
Yeah.
the revocation.
Oh, yeah.
Motion to.
Aye.
The motion to approve the revocation?
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta?
Aye.
Grant the revocation.
Commissioner Otley Brown?
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta?
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon?
Aye.
Application to revoke the C of O has been granted to Buildings Department. Thank you. Item number 7, 2025-34 BZ, 620 West 153rd Street, Manhattan.
Thank you. There were new financials. They seem to make sense to me. Were they satisfactory to you, Ms. Commissioner Otley Brown?
Yes, they're much more simplified, which is as I requested. All other incidental variables were excluded from the analysis so that now it's simply all things being equal, the cost to construct, demolish, and reconstruct can't be recouped by the income and valuation of the project, which is basically highlighting their main argument about good faith reliance. And so their case was proven. I have no other questions.
And seeker is closed on this matter? Tracy?
Yes, that's correct.
Great. The chair has left some notes on this application she would like to approve. Based on the evidence provided and case law, applicant passes the good faith reliance test and meets
Oh, what is this now?
Have a. Tony, what did you do?
I didn't do anything.
The mouse chewed the cord.
I'll say I have no poker face,
Jesus,
but
always
you
that
also.
Yeah, just
Didn't do anything.
got reconnected too. But it's weird.
Now I'm not
because
connected. What the heck?
I have a hotspot.
Okay, now that we can hear you now,
Thank
so maybe we need to
Technical
boot.
diff- we're gonna recall the matter.
okay. I
That
don't
would-
know if we're still live or not, so we're gonna get, Carlo.
Yeah, hold on. This is Carlo. Yeah, I went down too. So just give me a second, make sure that we're still streaming.
Should we put up a thing?
Maybe it's just a second.
Wait a minute. Something happened, yeah.
25 seconds too late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, zoom down. No kidding.
Okay, so it appears that we are back. I just checked YouTube. It's still streaming. So if we could just,
Carlo, it says fail to connect.
That's weird. I'm connected.
Yeah, but I don't think our Zoom is.
I'll be right there, 1 second.
Yeah, on Zoom.
This has failed to connect cloud server. I don't know if our mothership is connected though.
Yeah, I got thrown off right when we were about to vote.
Might be an internet issue because I'm on hotspot from the phone, so maybe it's a local internet
It's
issue.
because the room is connected.
Yeah.
Hardwired, and that's what.
I just checked
I can
YouTube
Hear you
and
now. She-
you are on YouTube. This is on YouTube.
I don't know why we've got this pop-up on the screen. You see this pop-up?
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, boy. It's just the first Monday of many Mondays this year.
Of the new year, Happy New Year, always on a
A
Monday.
very special Monday, yeah.
Okay, it seems that everything is running on our end,
Shumpus.
right? Dara, you can hear us?
Yes, I could hear you now, but I did get thrown off.
So did I. I
Back
think it
on.
was, I think it was a Zoom issue overall,
Mhm.
but, members of the public and applicants, we apologize for the, short delay. We just want to ensure that everything is operating. It appears everything is operating right now. We just checked YouTube. It's streaming. We are recording. So if we could, let me just double check.
Yes, we recall it.
Yeah, I'll recall it.
Hold on.
Let me know when we're ready. Yep. Here we go.
Yeah, I was just told by an applicant that, the Zoom is back online.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got this connecting to cloud server message, so I'm just trying to. It shouldn't interfere. Okay, we're back now. So if we could just reiterate what was last said, I'm sorry at the time that we had the interruption.
so we're good to go?
Yes,
Okay. So this is still the review session for January 12th, 2026. I'm recalling 2025-34BZ, 620 West 153rd Street, Manhattan. It's a decision item.
Okay, so we received new financials. They were satisfactory to me. And were they satisfactory to you, Commissioner Hartley Brown?
Would you like me to re-say my comments?
I
Yeah.
don't know if anyone heard them before.
Oh, okay. So I would say I'm definitely satisfied. I asked for the financial analysis to be simplified, which it was. All other incidental variables were excluded from the analysis. So what remained was simply that all things being equal, the cost to construct, demolish, and reconstruct could not be recouped by the income and valuation of the project. And so therefore, they proven their case on good faith reliance. And so I have no more questions.
Okay, I'm going to read the statement of the chair who wants to approve this application and states that based on the evidence provided and the case law, applicant passes the good faith reliance test and meets the findings of 7221. The application at the DOB was not self-certified, went through a standard review. As evident from the submissions, at no point was the applicant alerted of the quality housing program requirement during the DOB review process. Applicant has successfully demonstrated the practical difficulties in reconfiguring the building to meet the requirements of quality housing regulations. And as a right development at the subject site would require near complete demolition of the existing building and vacating all of its tenants, including rent stabilized units. Cost to demolish and to reconstruct this project is a burden which is outweighed by the need to retain the residents and commercial tenants of the building. Retaining the existing building will not impair the essential character of the neighborhood with regards to its existing use and density. Furthermore, it will not be detrimental to the public welfare. Since it meets the good faith reliance, it establishes that it was not self-certified, no fault of the developer, and any imposition or of any condition is not justifiable. And that is in reference to the community board. I also want to thank the board on its careful review of this case, and of course, the BSA staff for their hard work on this case. The BSA helps uphold the constitutionality of the zoning resolution and the rights of New Yorkers by serving as a relief valve. Finding good faith reliance on this set of facts is fulfilling that purpose. Do any other commissioners want to make any other comments? And I ask for a vote to approve.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Hartley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. Item number 8, 2025 45A, 369 Cleveland Avenue, Staten Island.
Just one moment. So I don't have any commissioner have any statement to make on this application?
Just, I want to indicate that they submitted a FEMA map, this submission. And the FEMA map indicates that the site is in a flood zone. So again, I would caution DOB to take a look at the comments added to the drawings indicating that BSA is not approving, is not waiving any regulations relevant to the flood or the wetlands. So that's what I have from this application. Thank you.
So I ask that this be approved with the condition that they receive a C of O within 4 years.
Okay. Motion to approve Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been approved. Special order calendar. Continued hearing items. Item number 9, 43764 BZ, 13702 Farmers Boulevard, Queens.
Moment. One second. They always have, right? Yeah. Huh? That was on the last one. Right. Now my computer's frozen a moment. Just. That was Cleveland Avenue. That was a GCL 35.
Yeah.
That we just, okay.
Okay, so now we're on the special order calendar, continued hearing items.
So I don't see a community board recommendation. Has one been presented? Ms. Morris? I understand that the project manager has engaged in the community board and the applicant has also engaged with community board, but the community board went staff, I read offline again. The community board underwent staffing changes this fall, so they have not gotten to this case yet. We had spoken about this case. There are still would like the chain linked fence become a residential grade fence along the residential property line. I believe they need to clarify the floor area to have appropriate numbers. And the lumen spread has lamps that do not seem to register at all on the lumen study. The submission shows site photos that show 2 vehicles without plates for sale parked on the sidewalk at the bus stop, and then large unauthorized signage along church lot line. The church lot cleanup has not been completed and there's no timeline for that implementation. There needs to be a clarification on whether it'll be 2 air vacuums stations or just 1, and at what location. Commissioner Otley Brown?
The only thing that I had to add, I wasn't sure if they corrected the convenience store selling area, because as of December 31st, it was still 1,260 square feet on pages 4 and 5 of the statement of facts, and 1,054 square feet in the plans, page 8 of 17.
Ms. Morris's hand is up when you're finished.
Ms. Morris, would you like to? We can't hear you, Ms. Morris.
Is having
might-
technical difficulties.
Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Shelton?
Yeah, thank you, Vice Chair. I have two main comments. The first one is first of all, for the lighting diagram, they submitted two lighting plans. The first one shows the luminous spread values across the site. And with that, they added a legend indicating which symbol indicate what. So I'm good with that. And the second one, they showed the plans for the canopies along with their lighting. So in general, I would say the lighting, the luminous spread diagrams are okay, satisfactory to me. The other thing is the bollards. I just want to share my screen. I wanted them to add probably one more and indicate the spacing for the bollards. I'll share my screen in a second. In 1 second. Yeah, so if you look here, oops, sorry. Bear with me, my computer is. Yeah, the reason for these bollards, first of all, there is no spacing. So they need to add a spacing to that, and the spacing should be reasonable to act as a protector for the building. Second, if I'm to like lay out these bollards, I would start from here, from that spot, to make sure that any car that's coming this way, the corner of the building is protected, and then proceed to that direction. So please rearrange these and add the spacing for the bollards. And I'm not sure if there is a detail for the bollards or not, but if there is not, please add one. Use the standard. You could ask the project manager to send it to you and use that standard detail for the bollards too. And they should be concrete, steel pipes or steel tubes filled with concrete. Thank you.
Could I just jump in and say I just checked the latest plans and statement and it's still the same. It needs to be reconciled.
And as far as the placements of the bollards, wouldn't it be better if they were placed in front of the pedestrian path to protect pedestrians from the vehicle movement?
Yeah, I didn't say do not lay out some here. I'm not sure. I'm still shared. Yes. So you're talking about this area, right?
Yeah,
And probably this too.
that's where I think we should limit the
Yeah,
bollards.
what I'm saying is the corner here is not protected definitely, and the spacing is not there. So you cannot tell how, if we give this to a contractor to install the
We won't
bollard,
know.
he's not gonna be able to lay them out. So please start at the corner here and then proceed, let's say at 6 feet, whatever spacing, and then protect the building along with that concrete pathway for the pedestrians. Yes, I agree. It should be protected. Yes.
And to
Ms. Morris has her hand up. I think she's back live.
Ms. Morris?
My apologies, you can hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Okay. So I think we're not looking at the most updated plan. I just want to acknowledge that the pedestrian pathway is a raised pathway. So Commissioner Sheda, just to clarify, in addition to it being a raised pathway, you're suggesting that the outer edge would have protective bollards.
So I submit that the only place that the bollards should be is the pedestrian path and not protecting the building.
I think what she's saying is that the pedestrian path is on a raised walkway with a curb. So there's an initial level
Yes,
of protection.
It's
with
like
the
a curb. It's like a curb, so it's elevated. Do you know?
If I may be overspeaking, that's what I understood you to be saying. Yes, okay.
When was the latest submission made? Friday?
Wednesday?
Yeah, I see a submission 547.
The chair's notes indicate that she doesn't believe that there's a need for bollards in front of the building.
I believe because of the tight maneuverability, I believe it's better to add them. It's not a big cost. And but installing these bowlers, installing one is like installing 10. If the guy is gonna mobilize and get the tubes,
So
it's better to add them.
I'm not completely sold on that yet, and we'll see what the chair says on the next date. My question is, with regard to the raised pathway, how is that ADA accessible?
There should be a ramp.
It's
Yeah.
not on the map.
It's from the ADA parking space. Coincident with the access aisle for the ADA parking space.
So is the parking space raised up too? Like, there has to be a ramp. I don't see.
Here,
Ramps up from
I
the
can zoom in.
access aisle.
The thing is, it is not clearly labeled as a ramp, but, and so I'm making an assumption, but the new handicapped concrete path is indicated here, which I'll continue to zoom in. This is the January 5th plans of this year. So there would presumably be a curb cut, but it is true, it is not actually documented clearly that there is, in this drawing at least, that there is a raised path at all.
It's not an ADA drawing.
I would ask the applicant to just provide a cross section, like a very small cross section in the building and in the pathway, and it's showing the asphalt or the general site area. So there is clear that there is an elevation difference between the asphalt, the concrete, and probably the building. So that would be like more clear to understand that this is kind of a ramp and it's elevated, so it's protected.
And just clearly show it on the plans. There's no delineation of where a raised curb might be. I guess now that I look at this, it doesn't seem like there's any indication that it's raised at all. So I think we need some clarification overall on the design of
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Is it wide enough to be ADA compliant,
Um,
to have turnaround, maneuverability,
so
access?
I'm not gonna say, but there's passage and there's turnarounds.
Yeah.
So a 4-foot wide passage can be more than enough to be compliant in some cases, but I'm not gonna opine on whether this is,
Maybe that should show.
right.
They can check it, and I believe they got room. They can, if they don't have the turnaround, they can just make it like, instead of the sharp corner, they can just make it like a curved pathway, top and bottom, so it's gonna be compliant. I believe it's easy, if it's not complying, it's easy to bring it to compliance.
Yeah. and I
Yeah,
don't-
I think these plans need to be redone so that they can show the raised pathway, they can show the ADA accessibility, they can show that it is compliant with being large enough for to be ADA and compatible, and it should show that there'll be no obstructions or display items on sale in that ADA pedestrian path.
And I can see that they are adding, I didn't see this plan before. I see that they added some boulders next to the building, and then they continued that to the concrete ramp for the pedestrians. So I believe it should be done that way, with just one exception, maybe the two boulders, the one that right next to the door, at the very right of the door, this one, no, the other, yeah, this one, and that one, it might need to be like tightened a little bit.
You're talking about
Yeah,
these?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I think as for me, I think the applicant needs to show whether this is raised or flat. And I think that's gonna help me understand whether or not bollards seem important here or not. In my opinion. But right now, as this stands, I'm now confused about what's happening on this drawing.
They could also add, like I said, either a section, a small section, it's gonna take like 5 minutes CAD wise. Or if this is difficult, they can just add some elevations, like the elevation.
Nothing
at the
takes
bottom.
5 minutes CAD wise, Nasser.
Really? I used to take 5 minutes to do something like that. But some elevations also would be fine, like the elevation at the very bottom where the hatchet area is. And then the elevation at the middle, at the turn, and then the elevation at the end. And then show the elevation in the general site area. By providing these elevations, once you look at these elevations, you're gonna understand that there is some elevation differences. And we're gonna understand that this is like a curb. It's elevated.
Yes, yes,
So it's either way, it's up to the applicant.
yes.
Okay, we could go to the next case.
Oh, wait, I haven't actually given my comment yet.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I
Commissioner.
know, I was speaking, but
Ms. Morris has hand this up.
she's also maybe had more.
After Commissioner
Okay.
Yoon.
Let's see. Agree on the fence at the property line adjacent, while they have the plans up, the fence at the property lines. So I think upon some review of the existing neighbor's fence along, the residential lots, seems like the current condition with no fence would be sufficient, provided that this landscape is installed. But on the lot line that is shared with the church, the chain link fence needs to be removed and replaced with something of a residential quality, which often we see vinyl. We can see wood, we can see other materials, but vinyl is typically the choice by the applicant, I mean. But that needs to be replaced, and I think we talked about that at the last hearing. We should be able to fit a street tree here between curb cuts on Farmers Boulevard. So please indicate that on the plan or let us know why we can't. And that would be in an effort to reduce any potential for sidewalk parking there. I don't think that the updated photos showed that this was removed. And this is from a submission in June of 2025. So the applicant should update us on this portion of the lot line. This is against the church, I believe. We did not get updated photos of this condition. And then I wanted the applicant to confirm, and maybe we've gone through this before, but please confirm that this tank and the other tank that I was showing in are both going to be removed as part of this proposal and replaced with new HVAC as shown on the new plans. Those were my comments.
Thank you. Ms. Matias?
Stop my share.
Special order calendar, new items. Item number 10, 75160 BZ, 105 New Dorp Lane, Staten Island. We are going to second call this tomorrow. Item number 11, 53465 BZ, 10440 Queens Boulevard, Queens.
Thank you. This is an extension of term permitting surplus tenant parking spaces with an accessory garage for transient parking. The subject site is currently developed with a 16-story building, multiple dwelling originally constructed in the 1960s. It has a cellar, 2 storage rooms, 1 valet, 1 recreation, 2 laundries, meter carriage, tank space, workshop boiler, 1 apartment plus 1 sub apartment, dentist office, sub curb, multiple dwelling, nursery school, multiple dwelling, basement, and 2 multiple dwelling A's. No changes are proposed for the subject building, and no relief is required with respect to the bulk or use of the occupancy or areas of the building is sought or required. There's 1 open DOB violation on this site, and it pertains to the benchmarking and not the use or operation. It is anticipated that that will be corrected upon the issuance of the C of O. I do not see a continuous use on this application. The CB voted to approve, but wanted to, from what I understand, they were concerned that they did not see the lease that shows the recapture. But the applicant did provide a photo of the recapture sign, not the lease clause. If the applicant provide the lease clause or their standard lease clause, that would be appreciated. Commissioner Otley Brown?
I'm not sure that do we need proof of continuous use for an extension of an MDL waiver? I wasn't sure about that.
I'm checking the rule now. I don't believe so. It's not an 1141. But I'll confirm within a minute.
I have no questions then.
Commissioner Shetto?
Thank you. I have no comments on this.
Commissioner Yoon?
I have a couple just,
And Jolene's hand is up. on the
Typo?
commissions.
and, there's some comments on the drawing also. So the original variance in 1965, the resolution confirms that it was a 15-year term that ends in 1980. The statement of facts and the BSA history document state that it's a 20-year term, so please correct that. Statement of facts states it's a total of 171 cars. The plans and the resolutions call for 181 spaces. Please confirm which number it is. On the existing and proposed plans, it is unclear where the aisle is, where the extents of the cellar parking garage terminate. I understand it seems to be like a computer drawing version of what was approved before, but it could use some information to show how one maneuvers through the space, because as
We
this,
do, right?
let's see, let me show. I'm just gonna show it for. When I look at this drawing, it's unclear to me how anyone is accessing the spaces, because it's unclear to me that this row here is actually meant to be a drive aisle. And whether this is a wall or what these dashed lines are meant to indicate. So, I
I
Commissioner.
believe
Lee-
Commissioner Ellie
yeah.
Brown has a question.
Yeah.
Hi,
Go ahead.
I'm not entirely sure that that's the purview of the BSA for a case such as this. It's basically just extending the authorization to allow spots to be rented transiently versus just for residential.
I guess my only thought was that how does one access, whether you're transient or residential? Does it have to function as separate entities?
We really don't comment on that. It's just basically extending their right to use their excess spaces
Okay.
for transient people who want day or hourly parking.
And no, I guess we don't have
Carla.
the jurisdiction to discuss how that would, how the transient operation would conflict potentially with a monthly parking.
Yeah. Mr. Costanza, Executive Director.
Well, that's not,
Costanza?
Yes, and I'm sorry, Ms. Banks Chu had her hand up first, but if it's okay with Ms. Banks.
Hi, I just wanted a clarification. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I just wanted to clarify that the community board didn't express an opinion. I put that they had a committee meeting scheduled for the 8th, and we requested proof that the tenants can still recapture parking spot within 30 days, which the applicant just sent over a rider, which I emailed to all of you a second ago.
Okay.
yes, and thank you, Ms. Banks Chu. So Commissioner Brown so Commissioner Brown is correct. So the purview of this application was at a moment in time, a number of surplus unused vehicles were identified and they were permitted to be used for transient parking. Otherwise, they were required parking or something for the building. The multiple dwelling language at that time, right? And it's conditioned in the previous board's resolution requires that a recapture sign is posted in a publicly facing area, and that a lease clause or something that gives potential future tenants the right to recapture one of these transient parking spaces for their use within 30 days of notice. So, but Commissioner Brown is correct. We don't monitor it. It's just if it's requested by a tenant, then they have the responsibility to give it back to the tenant. But otherwise, if it's not, they up until the amount that was prescribed, it can be used as and continue to be used as transient parking.
Okay, so the permission to have transient parking here is not, we don't get into the operations whatsoever to, I guess, understand how transient and monthly parking for residents, or sorry, long-term parking for residents and transient parking would interact. That's not part of this.
That's not part of the purview here.
And we don't see many of these anymore because the majority of these types of applications were located within the Manhattan core, which most of them were rendered as of right subsequent, I believe, to 2013. So these are the remnants in the outer boroughs that didn't benefit from the new text changes at that time. And that's why you haven't seen one of these in a long time. But back more than a decade ago, these were relatively regular types of applications.
We're not determining the amount of available parking spaces.
No, I'm not asking about that. I'm just asking about, there is some reference in the last resolution about transient monthly gates being installed to separate traffic. And so I thought that there may be some operational purview. So because inherently, if there's transient, it's a very different type of traffic than residential. But if what everyone is telling me is what we're doing, then that's what we're doing. So I thank you for the
But yeah,
explanation.
Commissioner Yoon, if I could clarify, yeah, I mean, there could be instances in the past or now that because of queuing or something at the board's discretion, a measure or control could be suggested that's within your discretion. If there was an issue that you've identified. And that could be maybe at some time there was, again, I don't recall this one, but I'll just leave it at that.
Definitely ask the applicant
Okay,
how it works.
okay, okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe just mention that it's self-parking and that would help. And I have those typos listed and I think that otherwise, the only other thing is I could share the writer that we received during this hearing, if that's helpful. This would presumably, this is a response of the applicant to the project manager asking for proof of inclusion in the lease for residential tenants.
Zoom in.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. All right.
Okay. And to the applicant, there is a question as to whether or not continuous use is required for this type of application. My general counsel believes that it is.
A what?
My
Continuous
executive
use.
director does not.
Not for.
We'll discuss it at hearing. I think we can
Yeah.
move on.
On the SOC calendar.
That's an SOC. Why is it a BZ in that day?
I have no idea. No, they're always BCs.
I think we could discuss it over the break.
Yeah.
Move on to the next matter.
So it's gonna be hard.
Okay. Go next one?
Yep.
Okay. Item number 12, 90786 BZ, 109, 113 East 73rd Street, 120 East 74th Street, Manhattan.
This is amendment of a previously approved variance to legalize a prior zoning lot merger and expansion. And to permit an expansion of the school's community facility use to include an adjacent property and propose alterations to the building footprint and height, which do not comply with the applicable zoning regulations. These are the notes from Chair Shanda. In the existing plan, section number 203 has not been provided, and the existing building height, building elevation fronting on 74th Street. In comparing the approved 1986 plan and the existing plan, there has been an encroachment into the rear yard of the building at 120 East 74th Street on the first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor, and sixth floor. Statement of facts needs to clarify if it would have required a BSA amendment. Indicate on the plan the last approved BSA waiver affecting building 120 and 111. Subsequent expansion that is not complying and existing legal non-compliance in building 113 and 109 East 73rd Street. She goes on to the findings, uniqueness and programmatic needs. Entitled to deference, there are 4 buildings located in the neighborhood, though through each building serve specific function Students in lower schools are dispersed in 3 buildings. The proposed enlargement and conversion will consolidate lower school students in 1 building, separating from the upper school buildings. She finds that this meets the A finding. As this is a school, the B finding, the financial is not applicable. Neighborhood character, the C finding. The proposed enlargement will be at the rear of the 109 building. She commends the applicant for listening to community board and neighbors' concern and revised the plan by reducing the rear yard encroachment. As stated earlier, existing footprint of 120 building or the 120E building is more than what that was approved in 1986. The findings need to describe and discuss the implications of the encroachment. Is this self-created, the D finding? The finding required has been modified for nonprofit organizations for further requirement in the website. For nonprofit, the applicant shall demonstrate that waivers requested to satisfy the needs described in the programmatic needs statement submitted in support of 7372 ZR 7221A would serve only the subject non-for-profit organization and its stated needs. A common ownership report is not required unless asked by the board. Revise the findings in the statement accordingly. Minimal. The bulk modification is minimal. However, the finding needs to describe and discuss the implications of the encroachment. I agree with the chair on her notes. I also agree that this is a minimal ask and they can certainly achieve this, but they do need to do some a much better job at their programmatic needs statement. Commissioner Otley Brown?
I think actually this is the best solution in terms of reconstituting their lower school and their upper school as 2 distinct operating schools. They could have asked to increase the FAR of the existing buildings, which I think would have more negatively impacted the neighbors. Instead, they purchased the adjacent building and built it out and want to build it out minimally in order to accomplish its program, which is to make sure that the lower school has its own separate, discrete building an area where the younger students can look to the oldest students in the lower school and look up to them. And they, of course, would provide a model for the younger students, and then also have the upper school in its own discrete building where they can also model behavior for the younger ones in that upper group and not have any encroachment on one by the other, which would distort the program. So I think this is actually a good solution to that problem. The only thing I would want to know for minimal is what is the question I usually ask: what's the gross square footage per student in this subject school versus the average gross square footage per student in neighboring private or public schools? Just to make sure that what they're asking for is not in excess of what everybody else is receiving nearby.
Commissioner Shida?
Thank you, Vice Chair. My comments are the following. Number 1, are this compliance with the existing conditions to the previous BSA grants in the statement of facts, as well as the drawings. The second one is please clarify what were the concerns or what was the concern of the community board during their course of review. The third one actually and fourth one are related to building 109. And this is the only issue I have with the application. I'm fine with all the findings except for C. I will share my screen immediately. Just give me 1 second to explain what I'm getting at. Yeah, I did share the 2 uppermost floors, I believe the 6 and the 7. If you look at this part here, you can see that the area that they are looking to add, which is hatched in red, it's kind of like very tiny area. And if you look at the lower floors, I can show that it's very similar to that. If you look at the top on the roof, I understand that you want to add this closed in blue area to create a space for the HVAC. If this area is tiny, I don't think looking at that, let me just share the plans, the PDFs. Yeah. Yeah, this one. If this is, I believe, the roof, 6th floor, 5th, 4th, 3rd, and so on. With the exception of this floor here, that area that's added is kind of like significant. But if you look at the other floors, it's almost nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. It's not, when I say nothing, I'm not saying that it's minimal or trivial, let's grant it. I'm saying that it's not gonna change much in the classroom area. So it's not gonna help, to me, it's not gonna help the programmatic needs of improving actually that floor area or that space in this classroom to make it much better to the students. And I understand that the main concern of the community board is that the enlargement on that building. So my point is if you can just live with granting something here and making it like a cantilever to create some space for the HVAC and just do not add areas on the lower floors, I believe that could help convince the community board, and especially if it's not programmatically needed, I would be in favor of that. If they can prove it to us that they need this area to improve the space in the classroom that to meet some certain requirements, I'm fine with the application as is. So it's gonna depend on how they're gonna argue the enlargement on that building in the upcoming hearing or hearings. That's all what I have. That regarding the pathway on the other building, I would defer to Commissioner Yoon on it, but I believe it's not a big ask, especially it's not involving like enlarging the building or making it taller or maybe adding some space to adjacent neighbors. So it's not a big deal for us. And to me, I understand that programmatically they need this, but for the 109 building, I'm still not there. Thank you. Commissioner Yoon?
So to just go off of what Commissioner Sheta just said, so I believe the project's going through a shadow review at LPC right now, which may have some comments on the roof structure, but I had no comments on whether or not that, I was fine with that as a programmatic need. For the 5'3", I thought the history of the project, initially, they wanted to build the 109 building fully all the way out to the rear lot line. And then they had their community board meeting. They met with, subsequent to the community board meeting, I think they met with a co-op that backs up onto that rear yard. And they ended up working out what we now see, which is this 5'3" addition on floors 4, 5, and 6. And that was the compromise to maintain as much of the existing, maintain the existing portion of the building that touches the rear yard, the rear lot line, and increase or encroach the other portion as little as possible. I think that classroom, which would be 15 feet without it, now being 20 feet, to me, being able to increase, these are not big dimensions for a classroom. So I was fine with the ask, and overall the history and the flexibility of the applicant and the architect to work through problem solving together with the community and its neighbor there, specifically at the back, to result in overall a conditional approval when they basically overturned the community board's initial rejection of or let's say disapproval of the project through this kind of compromise and working together. So I think that what they've come up with has been quite minimal and very responsive, and is, again, a successful compromise. working with the community. But in general, my notes were, I was hoping for a bit more, especially seeing the back and forth with the project manager, a bit more clarity of what was approved in 1987 and then what we got here, because I believe there were some comments that the population has not changed of the student body, but for us, I believe it has since 1987 to present day. So just a little bit more clarity. It doesn't have to be too detailed about what was approved in 1987, student body wise, staff wise, and what we have here today. Let's see, seeker, again, I think, and I think Ms. Banky can talk about the seeker status, but there's some review of the shadows that may be cast to the north of the project, and that may or may not impact the roof design. So I'll leave it up to seeker to first give us an analysis. Ms. Banky, is any of that incorrect?
That's correct. It's under review at LPC for shadows and historic resources. And yeah, we would like more information about the enrollment increase as well. Thank you.
And I imagine if there were, I realize that this is an as of right use, but it could, transportation would also potentially be looked at if the increase from 1987 to now would be significant enough, correct?
Yeah, I was looking at that further, and for community facility, we usually do allow the as of right use in the increment. So it would be a very small increment between an as of right use and the proposed. So it would be small, even if we're looking, we could look at 87 to now, but also for the EAS, I think it would still be the allowed as of right use.
Thank you, that makes sense.
Yeah, thanks.
Those are my only comments.
Okay,
Matthias, we can move on.
continuation of new cases, item number 13, 2016-4340 BZ Volume 4, 13102C 40th Road, Queens.
Thank you. This is an extension of time to complete the construction and a waiver of the board's rules of practice and procedure. The applicant has completed all foundational work. Construction stalled under the prior ownership due to financial issues, which were exacerbated by the COVID-19 epidemic. The owner acquired the property on October 21st, 2025, and is ready to proceed with construction. I have no further comments on this application. Commissioner Otley Brown.
I just have one question. They had stated that they were going to close on their construction financing by January 2026, and the rest of their timeline stems from this. So my only question is, are they on track to close by the end of this month? That's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Shetta.
Thank you. The first one is they indicated that the owner is expecting to have a term sheet in November 2025 and close on a construction financing by January 26. So if they have any update on that, that would be helpful to provide to us. The second, what is the status of resolving the violations? And the third one is related to the photos. Actually, the pictures that we got are kind of like interior ones. I'm looking at them right now. Give me 1 second. Yeah, these are the photos. I haven't seen like other photos from inside the site. So if they can provide us with some pictures from the interior of the site to show the status, that would be helpful. That's all. Thank you.
Commissioner Yoon.
The only thing to add to what's been stated is please submit copies of your violations.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Matias?
I believe they submitted a violation history.
They
Oh,
did a
did they?
print out.
They did,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that is my bad. And
1 second. Yeah, right here.
well, I'll be darned.
You gotta pull it up a little more, Vice Commissioner.
Yeah, this is the first one is the stop work order, I believe. Or this is.
Okay, thank you.
You,
Okay. Move on.
Please, Ms. Matias.
Okay. Item number 14, 2018-151, volume A, 151A, volume 4, 6-05, 129th Street, Queens. Received an email from fire department. They have no comments.
Fantastic.
And then we haven't received anything from DOT.
But we reached out to DOT.
Yes, we have.
Great. This is an amendment of a previously approved application, contrary to GCL 35. The applicant seeks the following amendments. He seeks to raise the roof to allow for 3 units on the 3rd floor, increase the number of dwelling units on the 1st floor and 3rd floors, height adjustments to accommodate additional units, add a roof above the ground floor in the rear of the building adjacent to the cellar, change to the proposed curb cut shape on the south to match the existing sidewalk condition, revise the number and location of open parking spaces. During the DOB review, the curb cuts shown on the BSA approved plans were required to be modified to meet current code requirements. The curb cut on the north side was shifted 6 feet away from the property line after it was discovered that the adjacent property has an existing curb cut leading to a garage. During the review of the curb cut application, the plan examiner identified the condition and required that the proposed curb cut be located at least 16 feet away from the neighboring one. A zoning section was added to the approved curb cut drawing per the examiner's request. Regarding the curb cut on the south side, its configuration adjusted to reflect existing site conditions. As Ms. Matias stated, fire department has no comment, and we are waiting on DOT. I have nothing further.
Did everyone see the submission from Friday from the applicant?
I believe that was the one I was working off of.
Yeah,
Just,
okay, I just want to make sure everybody saw it.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
I have no comments.
Commissioner Sheta,
thank you. The only question I have on this, let me check if this is the only one really. Yeah, that regarding the firms, when looking at the submission, they submitted a FEMA map emptied in the drawing set and then a separate one. And looking at both, they are totally different. I don't know why.
Okay, I'll get that clarified.
And my understanding is that the site is located in a flood zone. So I didn't see the standard note added previously, and I asked them to add the standard BSA note regarding flood
Okay.
and wetlands. And the third point is, would any of the requested amendments trigger / constitute any zoning waiver? That's all. Thank you.
Commissioner Yuen,
I have no comments on this case.
Ms. Matias, I believe that.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so this concludes the review session for January 12th, 2026. We'll resume at, it is 11:12. What time, Vice Chair?
Yeah, that's
15. I'm fine.
15. So
15, that's fine.
we could do 11:30.
We will, ladies and gentlemen, we resume at 11:30 for the public hearing. Mics off, please.
No, extra 4 minutes. That's a little early, you know. 15 is the rest of this half an hour. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Actually, 1 minute.
Good morning, everyone. Commissioners, please ensure that your microphones are on. Ms. Matias, we are live, we are recording and streaming. You may proceed with today's public hearing.
Microphone's on? Everybody has the microphones on? Good afternoon. It's good morning still. It's the Board of Standards and Appeals public hearing for January 12th, 2026.
Thanks.
We'll begin with the special order calendar, continued hearing items. Item number 9, 43764 BZ 13702 Farmers Boulevard, Queens. Oh, God, I don't have the thing. Look at that. No, I mean, my thing here. It's going to be. Where's the thing?
Join is finalist.
We need your camera, Mr. Cazado.
Oh, there we go. Is that the only, yourself and your associate?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes.
Okay. Let me swear you right in. Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
May Abdurrahim.
Nasir Khandad, I'm the applicant.
You heard the board's comments. Please respond.
Yes.
Regarding the community board, that was the first comment. But we have tried to contact them multiple times, but they haven't been responding. We did attend the first community board. However, the final, we can't get in touch with them. For the second comment, it was regarding the fence. According to the community board, they do agree with landscape. However, sorry.
Can you again? I wasn't able to hear you.
Sorry, bring it closer. Regarding the fence, the community board did agree with the neighbor landscape. However, the fence near the church, that's gonna be a vinyl fence, will be installed for future. Third, yeah, I just talked about that. The third one is regarding the sign. Whatever extra sign on the existing property will be removed during the construction because we need a permit.
Can't hear you.
Ma'am,
I'm sorry.
I'm having some difficulty hearing you.
Yeah, it seems to you going in and out. So if you could speak a little more clearly,
No problem.
I'm sorry.
Let me know if can you guys hear me right now?
Yeah.
Is it better? Okay. Regarding the signage, the auto repair sign on the site, that'll be removed during the construction once the DOB approved the plan and we have the permit issue. Fourth comment, we would like to clarify the handicap. It will be raised handicap and we will provide it on the elevation.
And there'll be a ramp on it as well.
Yes, that's correct. And it's gonna be more clarified during our update plan.
And the bollards placed in front of that ramp around that.
That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. Okay. We have a comment for the fifth comment, which is the curb cut by the Farmers Boulevard. We were told to install a tree between both curb cut. However, in the past, we have never gotten any complaint by the neighbors or any community board regarding the parking on site. And if we do install the tree between the curb cuts, I think it's going to delay our process even more from the park department. So we were suggesting if we do not install any tree, if you guys agree, of course.
I'm sorry, the reason not to was because of the amount of time
Park-
it would take Parks to review it?
Park Department, they would delay the process because in the past they have delayed the multiple hour application to get the approval from the Park Department.
But you're anyway going to DOB overall for a review and approval, so if this adds a delay, we are asking for this to be part of the street.
So the Parks Department has its own requirement. So when we file for CO4, they will ask me the trees are required and how many are required, how many to be installed and how many to be paid. So we'll deal with the Parks Department, Building Department down the road. If board really want to install the 2 trees, I can accommodate 2 trees. But the gas stations industry do not like the trees on the street because somebody will hit it, somebody will break it. They don't like to have the grass, they don't have maintenance requirements. So I would request board to leave it for now and
How
let the
about we make it a
DOB,
condition on the plans?
they're subject to DOB and FDNY, they're subject to Parks Department and Building Department approval, that's fine. I can put that on the plan.
Okay.
Yeah, because no gas station want to maintain the trees because somebody will hit it, break it. It's just like always situation for a danger. So they try to avoid it. So we will try to deal with building department, park department. Most probably they will forgive us, give us a variance. If not, then we install it. Mostly these trees are paid to the city fund, and we always pay to the city fund.
What we're requesting is that you put the trees on the plans and subject to DOB and approval and
Can we do that? No problem. We'll put it on the plan then.
okay.
Okay. The next comment is regarding the tank removal. We are aware that we're gonna be removing the tank. However, we will be removing it during our once the permit gets issued by the building department. And all the photos are gonna be updated. As
So
well.
the tank will be removed?
Yeah, the tank, the one that you guys have pointed out, that will be removed during the permit issue.
I
Why-
pointed out 2, but just, there's a red one and then there's one that's encased in masonry. And
The AC. Yes, that's correct, both of them. 2 of them, correct.
All the tank which are abandoned and placed, they will be removed during the renovation and we don't have plans yet for the tanks, but during the construction, we will have the tanks filed and if we have approval, we will do it accordingly.
So you're keeping the oil tanks for heating or some, I'm sorry, I don't understand.
No, we will keep the heating tank and for the waste oil tank. But waste oil tank will be gone because we don't have the repair shop anymore. So it will be only heating tank will be remaining. And it's up to the owner. Maybe he wants to change all electric. We put the solar on the roof and we change the whole thing, but I don't know yet.
Okay, so it's not on the plans, the proposed plans now, but you're going to show
Yes.
where it's going to go.
Well, I'm a little
As-
confused. I'm a little confused. I'm not sure where the correlation between removing the tanks and the permit. We've had several gas stations with this type of outstanding tank condition where we required immediate removal and they didn't, and it wasn't correlated on the permit. So I'm unsure why you're correlating the 2 at this moment.
Well, I mean, let me just jump in. I think that you need the heating, which is currently being provided by one of these tanks. And the other one is currently receiving discards of oil from the repair shop. Is that correct?
Correct. So these both the tank most probably will be gone. Why? Because no more repair shop and we will have the other means of heating the convenience store. So waste oil will be gone and the heating oil will be gone. So those both tanks will be removed. Yes, correct.
Why can't we put the oil discharge tank in the interior as opposed to leaving it outside towards the elements?
No, these both tanks will be will be removed. We don't need them anymore because there's no more repair shop and we don't have the need for these two things. And we're putting central air conditioning to the building and these things are not required.
So can we remove at least the oil tank one now?
So right now we have the repair shop in business. After BSA approval, we will be removing the repair shop and making it a C-store. At that time, we don't need these two tanks because waste oil tank is not required. It's only required to the repair shop. At the same time, heating oil is always required to heat up the repair shop, which is not required because the C-store will have his own air conditioning system that goes in place. So at this point, I cannot remove these two tanks, but down the road, it will be removed during construction.
Okay, thank you.
If you could just clearly annotate both the removal on the existing plans and the description of the new HVAC on the proposed plans, as well as in your statement of facts, what you just stated.
Sure, we'll put that in into statement of fact, and we will write down on the drawing a note also that these two tanks will be removed upon construction time.
Yeah, and also if you can add a note on the HVAC, because they are close to, I'm not sure if this is one story, the 1 story concrete block has windows or it's a residential building, but if it is, add a note that the HVAC will be placed on like an isolated footing or something to make
On the
sure
roof. It will be on the roof, it will be on the remote corner, so it should not be bothering the noise to the neighbors.
Okay, yeah.
Will
And
that.
regarding-
And
Go ahead, sorry.
so sorry for confusion at the start of the meeting when I was, we were listening to the presentation, but we had a wrong drawing at the start. I'm sorry for that because it wasn't clear and now it's clear.
Are you done with like responding to our
Yes.
comments?
Yes.
Okay, so regarding the concrete ramp, I'm not an architect, but I'm not sure whether it's that the turn is okay for an EDA compliance. If you can check that, please, and make sure that it is. This is one of the comments that were raised during the review session and is not responded to. Also, if you look at the plan, the one that's submitted on January 5th, I see like two elevations on the building. One of them is finished floor at 18.47. And the other one is right elevation is 4119. I'm not sure about the second one. But when you put the elevations, it sounds like you want to go with the elevations now, showing the elevations on that ramp instead of drawing a section. When you put the elevations, make sure that the elevation right outside the door matches the elevation inside, the finished floor elevation for the building. So this is also another thing. And like I said, if you're gonna keep the bowlers next to the building, and I believe you should keep them. As a professional engineer, I see that the direction you elected to go is to protect the building. If this is gonna be the case, please start at the corner and lay out the bowlers going left. And then for the, I believe you're gonna need to add one more right before the door of the convenience store, the C-store. So take a look at that and rearrange it, please.
Sure. So basically you're saying the right side should have bollard also, we'll do that.
Commissioner Otley Brown?
I just want to reiterate about the reconciliation about the square footages, because that is one of the findings for TPPN.
The square footage.
So we do have a drawing does show wrong 1054 square feet. It is supposed to be 1260. That is our mistake. I acknowledge that and we will fix it. So
Thank you.
the facts and findings are correct, but the drawings have, we forgot to change it there. That was a nice catch, by the way.
Oh, and you're gonna need to include a detail for the bollards. You can ask the project manager to send it to you.
No, we have a lot. We will put together. If I need
If
help,
you
I'll
have
ask
it,
Morris.
if you have it, that's fine. I thought you don't have it in your.
No,
Library.
I'll
Yeah.
include in the drawing. No
Yep.
problem.
Is it steel pipe concrete filled?
Yes, it is 4-inch steel pipe, concrete fill. Now they have the plastic yellow color casing that goes on top of it. So we don't have to paint anymore or no yearly painting. It's a steel pipe filled with concrete and then this casing goes on top.
Easy to install. Thank you.
It's a vinyl thing. It's very cheap. It just goes on top. It's maintenance free forever.
Yep. Understood. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay,
No,
public.
let's go to the public.
Yeah.
Mr. Kanzada, how long do you think? Oh,
Wait, no, we'll get to that. Just go to the public. Okay, the case that we're currently discussing is 43764 BZ, 13702 Farmers Boulevard, Queens.
Update photos.
Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 161-618-0955 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to be able to unmute it if you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hands at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to comment on this application.
Mr. Kanzada, how long do you need to make these changes?
I think I need very little time. 2-3 weeks are enough for me. I'm ready for next month.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
Just look at the calendar.
We can get back to them. The dates.
Yeah, we don't have to pick right
Yeah.
Maybe in 2 weeks.
End of February is a February
No,
5th.
we can discuss
submission.
dates. We can discuss dates later.
Okay, thank you.
End of February will work with us. No problem.
Yeah, let's just discuss dates later. Makes it easier.
Are we okay closing?
Hmm?
You okay with closing it, Chase? Well, we still have the finding, we do have, Commissioner Otley Brown, are you okay with closing this matter?
Commissioners,
We still need to.
Fine.
Yeah,
with the square footage, though.
Yeah.
well,
They can.
we can reopen if that,
Okay. You want that? Okay.
okay,
All right.
We can ask them about the square footage and put it in the record.
well, it's part of the findings.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to make a motion to close?
Motion to close.
There's no one called and raised their hand. Sorry, just for the record.
Hearing nothing from the public, I make a motion to close.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Okay. We'll contact you about the hearing date.
But the record is going to be open for you to submit, make submissions.
No problem.
Okay.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you for the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Special order calendar, new cases, item number 10, 75160 BZ, 105 New Dorp Lane, Staten Island. This case will be heard on Tuesday. Item number 11, 53465 BZ, 10440 Queens Boulevard, Queens. This is Todd Dale. Okay, anyone
morning.
with Dale? Good morning.
No, just myself today, thank you.
Raise your hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do so affirm.
Please state your record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Good morning, Todd Dale for the applicant. I did listen to comments at the review session. There weren't many comments, but I will just note that we will submit a revised statement correcting the 2 typos that Commissioner Yoon pointed out, the 15-year term and the 181 total spaces. I know there was discussion about what is under the board's purview, but just for clarity, Commissioner Yoon, the spaces that are shown there are the transient parking spaces only, which are valet parking. It's to the north of those spaces. They're not shown on the plan, but there's a drive aisle there, and it's self-parking for the tenants to the north of that within the garage. And if you look at the plan, you'll see there's actually two entry gates, a attended parking, transient parking gate, and a self-parking gate. So that's how the parking lot is used.
Thank you for
Sure.
that.
I don't know if there are any other, there was a question about continuous use. I don't know whether proof is required or not, if that's been determined. We are going to be submitting the statement, so I can just go on record and say whether it's required or not. I just looked at Google Street Views and there's a photo from 2021 and a photo from 2022, and I'm more than happy to include those in the submission with the statement just to resolve the issue.
Please do. Thank you, Todd.
Okay.
Mr. Dell. Any other questions from the commissioners? Tony asked that we go to the public.
With the public. Item number 11, 53485 BZ, Jella. 10440 Queens Boulevard, Queens. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 161-618-0955 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to comment on this application.
Mr. Dale, since you're revising the statement of facts, would you mind adding that statement that you made, just explaining the operation very generally?
No problem. I'll add that in right now in my notes.
Maybe the clock to run down.
Having heard no comments from the commissioners, no further comments from the commissioners, and no comments from the public, I make a motion to close, leaving the record open for your submissions.
Motion to Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Shetta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Okay, we'll let you know the date.
Great. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Okay. Item number 12, 90786 BZ, 109 113 East 73rd Street, Manhattan, and also 120 East 74th Street, sorry. That's Faith Hunter, Mark Minkley, and Robert Rogers. Mark Minkley, and Robert Rogers, the applicants on this. David in there? Good afternoon, Mr. Schnackenberg. Sorry, it's still good morning. Who's with you on this as you're part of your team?
We've got a big team. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. We've got Buckley School is with us. Zubakin, the owner's rep, is with us, and Rogers Partners Architect is with us. So I can give you names unless if team members would just throw their hands up so that Tony knows who to admit, that would be helpful.
I'm not admitting those, some of the other people.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so Faith Hunter is part of the team?
Yep.
Greg
We've got
Amelia?
Faith Hunter, Greg Amelia, Corey Durney.
Nancy Paduano?
Sorry, Tony?
Nancy Paduano?
Nancy's not with our applicant team, no.
Okay, so don't let in Nancy. Greg Amelia, pardon my pronunciation of people's names.
Greg is
Greg,
part of our team. Yes, Greg is the
Greg
head
is
of
part
school
of
for
the
Buckley.
Part of the team, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a Nancy person then. He said not to, it's not part of the team.
She is then.
Oh, well, you have to,
All right, I'll move her back.
yeah, she's not part of the team, he said.
But she's speaking, I don't know what time she'd be allowed to speak for the public.
Yeah, after we open it up.
Yeah, anybody who's not part of the applicant team will have an opportunity to speak.
Yes.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay, and Corey Dunny is part of the team?
Yes.
Okay. Gurney, sorry. Once again, I apologize. Okay, now we're ready. Everyone raise their right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth? Wait, am I missing anyone? We're good? Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to the board member questions?
I do.
I do.
Okay, whoever is the lead, please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Okay. So good morning, everybody. David Schnackenberg, Fried Frank, Harris, Schreiber, and Jacobson for the applicant. Joined today by the Buckley School, by Greg Amelia, Corey Durney, and by Faith Hunter, by our owner's rep, Mark Minkley from Zubatkin, and by the architect, Rogers Partners. That's Josh and Rob are both on, I believe. Are you guys on?
Rob Rogers is on. Yes.
Rob is on, okay. So that's our team, and we're here today to talk about the Buckley expansion. We did hear your comments and questions at the executive review session. I think we will not do our entire presentation. It sounds like a pretty hot bench. You guys know who we are. I would like to just let Greg sort of just introduce some of the issues that we're trying to solve for here, and then I'll get right into answering your questions. But sort of our overarching narrative is, you know, this is an as-of-right expansion of the school's existing facility into an adjacent building that the school is able to purchase. This is to accommodate the school's specific program, which circles around sort of a lower school and an upper school, which Greg is going to discuss. As you all saw, the project looks a little bit different than it does when we first applied. Our rear yard encroachment was impactful on the neighbors. That was the reasoning by the community board's recommendation that you disapprove the application. But the team was able to work really closely with the neighbors. There's a letter of support that was submitted on Friday from the neighbors to the north. I hope that's made its way to you. And we really appreciate their working with us. And so we think we've got a good solution here. I'll sort of background myself for a second and just briefly, Greg is going to introduce the school and the program to all of you. But I promise I won't do a full song and dance because I know it's a long day. Greg?
You bet. Well, following up on that, I appreciate all your time and your service. My name's Greg Amelia, and I'm in my 25th year as head of the Buckley School. And the school was founded in 1913, initially 5 students on Madison Avenue. And then we moved to our current location in 1917. It started on 120 East 74th Street. And then since then, we made some incremental improvements to that building and also purchased 2 other buildings. So the key for us is we essentially have 3 buildings. This Walsh building, we also have the Hubble building, which we purchased in 1974, which is primarily athletic building. And then also in 2012, we bought 2 townhouses across the street, and we combined them to make a arts and sciences building. So during our history, a little over 100 to 12 years now, 113 in 2026, we've had over 4,000 boys attend Buckley. We have 2,300 living alumni, and over 53% of them contribute to the school every year. It's notable because it's actually the highest in New York City of any private school, any size, and also that over half the board to whom I report are also alumni. And the reason I share that with you is because many of them grew up on the Upper East Side in the neighborhood, and they really look at the long haul here and really want what's best, for the boys and the neighborhood. So we educate boys from ages 5 to 15 before they head off to high school. And although we do enroll boys from various boroughs, the majority of them do live on the Upper East Side. Currently, 13% of our students receive financial assistance. Our school motto is honor and truth, and our mission emphasizes, the pursuit of excellence, but also importantly, the respect for others. So related to that, being a good neighbor is very important to us. We do not have any school signage on any of our buildings so as not to bring undue attention. The size of our student body has been very stable over the decades, often ranging from 360 to 380 boys. With the proposed project at 109 East, we are looking to significantly improve our program, but have no plans for increased enrollment. In fact, we feel very good about our size. There's a lot of research that once you go over 400 students, for example, the program changes significantly and the relationships between students change. So we're very happy with our size. Speaking to that, our project would solve several current problems. So these are the big ones for us. Our youngest students, who are ages 5 and 6, are housed 2 blocks away from the main academic building. We actually have put them in the athletic building, and they often visit for school assemblies, certain classes, and other activities. So walking 40 young boys takes time and security personnel, but even more importantly, it really distances them from their teachers and away from the other boys in the lower school. Our goal is to finally have the full lower school together in the main academic building, which with the project would consist obviously of 113 to 109 East. The other group of boys that would benefit are our 4th grade boys, who are currently housed with the much older boys in what we call our upper school, grades 5 through 8. The project would also enable class 4 to be located in the lower school, enabling those boys and teachers also to be closer to the lower school specialists. And these class 4 boys also play a critical leadership role in the lower school. They include leading assemblies, being role models in all areas of school life. So you can imagine having the 4th graders through beginners would be really wonderful for the school. And another significant challenge for us, and this is probably the last one I'll mention. Actually, there's one other minor one, or it's a major one too. But another significant challenge for us is that we use one large room for play rehearsals, assemblies, 3 lunch periods a day, and community events with student parents and alumni. So we really only have one big room, function room. So this, as you can imagine, this overuse of one room creates conflicts for us, just trying to schedule everything, particularly around 3 lunches a day. And public speaking is a cornerstone of our program with declamation and debate contests. We have 19 plays on stage every year. This project would allow us to offer a flexible space in the new building 109 East that could be used for play rehearsal and other practice, thus putting less pressure on our lunchroom. In a related matter, and this will be the last one I mention, our kitchen is very small by industry standards to serve 370 boys and 100 employees, almost 500 people a day. This project would allow us to incrementally increase the kitchen size and really improve our food offerings. I'm happy to talk about other benefits as well and answer any of the questions. But from my perspective, those are the main priorities. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. With that, I think we'd like to jump right into the questions that were raised at executive review session, if that's okay.
Sure.
All right. So I guess there were a couple buckets. Like, one has to do with the actual changes to 109, which we are looking forward to speaking about. But there was also a lot of questions about the sort of the legalization component of the application. Right. So the history is a little bit muddy, but we've been working really hard to unearth it. Buckley was a BSA in 1960, and then again in BSA in 1986, approved in 1987. The 1987 approval was for the connector between the 74th Street and the 73rd Street sides of the Walsh Building, what was then 113 East 73rd and the 74th Street Building. Subsequent to that approval, similar to what Walsh to this 109 expansion, Buckley acquired 111 East 73rd, then expanded the school into 111 East 73rd. Similar to what we're doing now, that was an as of right expansion. And even more than now, it didn't require any waivers. And so DOB did not direct Buckley to come back to BSA, although we recognize now that Buckley would have been better advised to come to BSA for an amendment to the site plan. Generally, those are sometimes done by letter, sometimes on application. When the 113 building was acquired and the Buckley site plan sort of engulfed that space, there was work done at 113 to build 113 out to the same depth of 111. And I believe that is the work that has sort of been under the radar. It didn't require a waiver because it was as of right. It didn't encroach into the rear yard the way 109 does. But that needs to be reflected on a site plan too. What I propose is we will make another submission where we highlight those portions of the building that were not specifically approved in the 1987 approval, which is, as far as I can confirm, and we're working on making absolutely sure, it's the build out in the rear of 113 East 73rd, which was as of right, but under BSA's jurisdiction, or should have been under BSA's jurisdiction. So we'd like that to be reflected in the amended site plan. A couple years later in 2013, the school did additional as of right work on the roof of the 74th Street side and the 113 East 73rd Street side. That was rooftop mechanical, and that was the replacement of a skylight with a bulkhead on 113. That work again was as of right, and DOB did not direct the Buckley or its then development team to come back to BSA, but we think it's proper that that's also on the approved plans as well. So we'll include that in our submission as sort of the laundry list of things that we're trying to legalize.
Sure. I just wanted to cite that the chair had mentioned that there's been a non-complying encroachment on 120 East 74th Street building at the rear on all the floors that I mentioned in the hearing. Are you prepared to address that, or you want to do that in writing?
We're going to respond to that in writing, Commissioner Shibeta. We believe that the non-compliant component is on the 73rd Street side, but we want to double check that before we respond. And so we'll have a full response and we'll address. Just to confirm, the chair's comments that I have were 120 East 74th. I believe you said 4th, 5th, and 6th stories. Was that your comment?
First floor, second floor, third floor, 4th, and 6th.
Okay, we're going to respond to that in writing. I think that that's a little bit of a sort of the muddiness with on the 73rd Street side, but we've got the approved plans and we'll respond to that in writing. We think that those are actually not non-compliant, and we'll respond. Let's see. Okay, so that was sort of the first bucket. Unless there are more questions about that, we'll respond in writing, and I think we'll give a fulsome response. But are there any other questions on that component now?
No,
Okay.
just that have been mentioned.
Great, thank you. Hearing none, we'll move on to sort of the 109 building. And I think there were a couple questions, and I'm going to sort of answer them briefly, and then I'm going to let the school and the architect sort of address them more specifically. But Commissioner Shibeta, Commissioner Shetta, I believe you were suggesting that the build out into the rear yard on floors 4, 5, and 6, that 5-foot, 10-inch build out, was perhaps necessary for us to support the HVAC on the roof. That's actually not why it's included. When we worked with the neighbors to the north to pull back the building to accommodate their light and air, we sharpened our pencils and we sort of reconfigured the programmatic space within the building. But that 5-foot build out is actually sort of mission critical to the school's programmatic needs. And it doesn't sound like a lot of space, but that really is just a reflection on how carefully Rogers Partners and the school worked. So rather than have me sort of repeat what others have told me, if you'll indulge us, Faith Hunter from the school is going to just explain to the board why that modest bump out is really essential to the program. And then Rob Rogers of Rogers Partners is going to explain sort of the changes between the initially proposed build out and the revised proposed build out. And while they're speaking, I'm going to just pull up a slide that I think illustrates that pretty well.
Yeah, I don't know if Faith has been added as a participant. She said
she's here.
Yeah, and just to be clear, Faith is the director of our lower school, so she works with those younger boys.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for this time. We at Buckley think so critically and mission-centered is that we're ensuring that every boy has the opportunity to meet his full potential. And the way that that plays out with the considered spaces, I will say that we use every single inch and then some, constantly breaking boys off into small groups, more often than not always having a class in 2 half groups. So in considering these spaces, they really do need to be able to house regularly and functionally a group of 12 children in order to maximize instruction. So that 5 feet is critical, and even more so than that, it is really sort of the shape of the room. If that room is cut off diagonally, it really would not serve as a functional classroom in the way that we teach.
So you're saying, I'm looking at the 3rd floor, for example, and the current size of the classroom without the breakout portion is about 30 by 23. Clear, probably it's 30 by 21. So you're saying that this is not enough and you need to add some more space to the classroom?
Yeah, because if you just functionally think about sort of the 12 children around, whether they're sitting in a circle or whether they're facing a smartboard, the way in which they, even in that, within that space, you'll have a teacher and she'll break those, or he'll break those 12 children into maybe 3 groups of 4. You really do need all of that space. Even honestly, with that build out, it's still tight. We'll use every inch.
Do you know?
Rob, could you comment a little bit on, oh, sorry.
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to ask Rob to jump on and just sort of walk through how we got from here, which was the initial proposal with the full build out, to here, which is the sort of preserve the program, but also preserve the open air on the right side of the building.
If you'll go to the one with the full build out, David, and good afternoon, commissioners. Thank you for your time and attention. It really critical, because of the narrowness of the 109 building, was to locate consequential classroom to the north, the consequential classroom to the south, and then all the other infrastructure and smaller spaces, including circulation in the middle of the building, were constrained by a window well that came with the residential building. So you really need to make those classrooms north and south. And so our original intent was to actually build full to the north. In the community board, the neighbors to that north building responded very vigorously. And as David mentioned, we came back and met with them and essentially said, once we finish the kindergarten, we think we can tighten that classroom up a little bit. We'll leave the rear yard extension and make that into storage and breakout, but really get down to the bare minimum classroom size. So, you know, it may sound like it's only 5 feet, but going from 15 to 20 is a huge increase in the usability of that space, not only the floor space, but the wall space of, you know, for the entire classroom.
I just want to save your time and our time. I'm not seeing 15 or 20. If we can share the proposed plans, I can probably explain myself better.
Of course.
Specifically, I'm talking about the 3rd floor. Can you please share that?
Yes, sir.
3rd floor. Yes, this one. If you look at the classroom size, it's about it. There is a dimension that says 32.5 almost by 23. I understand these out. If you look at the classroom of the size of the classroom, it's about 30 by 20, I would say. If you're saying that this is not an enough classroom size, I'm going to ask you, what is a typical classroom size for, let's say, SCA? And the reason I'm raising this, because this is what is triggering the area that's shaded in red, that's impact the building next door. If you go to the next floor, please, next plan. Yes, here we're talking about probably a much smaller area. But again, looking at the size of the classroom, I would say it's about 30 by same size, 20. Next one. almost same, maybe 25 by 20. So if we're saying that these sizes for the classrooms, I understand why you put them north, and I don't have objection to that. My point is this is what is triggering the waiver and this is gonna impact the neighbors next door probably. If we're saying that the current sizes of the classrooms are not enough, please give us like some sort of like a typical classroom size, and I'm gonna be fine with it.
I appreciate that, Commissioner Sheta, but if there is a programmatic needs argument that children, the nursery children need more space, then please,
that's what
if that so that we could balance the equities there.
Yes, that's what I said during the review session. If your programmatic needs mandates that you need that extra 5 feet or extra whatever, please provide that and compare this to something that's standardized by either SCA or something typical, I would say, not standardized, but something typical with respect to SCA construction or other schools maybe in there. That's all what I'm looking for.
Understood. Respond.
And I do also, board is, as Vice Chair Chambliss notes reflect, and as well as my thoughts, that the board is very pleased with you working so closely with the neighborhood on this project.
Thank you. We appreciate those comments. We will respond. I see Commissioner Otley Brown.
I think what Commissioner Sheta said is very similar to the question that I asked, although mine is more generalized in that I wanted to know the gross square footage per student in this proposal versus other schools in the area. That'll give us an indication of what the average classroom sizes or average space devoted to each student is, so we could determine whether or not this is an over ask or if this is a typical ask.
Absolutely. We'll respond with those numbers in a table when we submit. Thank you.
Even I'm open that if you have something that's special to your classroom or to your school, some sort of activity that's not found in that school with typical classroom size or with this average classroom size per student, I would be open to look into that and be okay with it. But we have to fill this gap.
There also is a history of the board approving cases like that. There was one, a music school, if I'm not mistaken, a few years back that needed more space to play the trombone.
Yeah.
So examples such as that. I think that might have been your time.
Yes, sir, we appreciate the direction. We understand the question. We will respond. I believe those were the sort of the two large buckets. Commissioner Yoon had asked about the shadow review at LPC. We are appearing at LPC tomorrow. Our application is proceeding, and we'll update the board through both through our updated EAS, but also just with a note after we have gone through that, just to answer that question. I believe those were the questions. And also, Commissioner Yoon had asked about the changes to the student population since 1987 and whether that might be a component to justify, I believe, whether you were asking in terms of whether that justifies the expansion. We'll respond to that in writing as well. My understanding is that the school's population has been relatively static, but I haven't had time to get those numbers since 1987, and we'll do so.
Okay, thanks. And also, I was curious about the impacts it would have to any seeker findings, but yes.
I think that we're well below thresholds on seeker, but we'll confirm that as well.
As was clarified also by Ms. Banky.
Ms. Banky, yes. Unless the board has any other questions, we really appreciate everyone's time, and we're happy to make a supplemental response with our papers.
Okay.
Just wanted to correct something I stated earlier, which was that in the compromise or the collaborative work that was done between the applicant team and the community, that the CB vote had been overturned, and that's not true. The letter we got, as Mr. Schnackenberg stated, from the co-op board, that is the neighbor to the north, and it is not a reversal of the community board vote. So just wanted to correct my statement.
That is correct.
Any other comments from any commissioner? Okay,
Go to the public.
let us go to the public.
Okay. So the case that we're currently discussing is 907-86 BZ, 109-113 East 73rd, and 120 East 74th Street, Manhattan. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number 161-618-0955 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt after that, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to comment on this application. There are 3 people in the room who are raising their hands.
Um,
Are you hosting? I don't have to.
Mr. Schattenberg, just one quick question. Did you have the opportunity to send the revised plans to the community board?
The revised reflecting the breakout.
The current
So, Mark, I don't believe we've sent them to the community board, but we will do so. We actually copied them on our submission, but I'll make sure they got to them. We'll follow up. Thank you.
The first one, Bhavana, pardon my pronunciation. Please state your name and you'll have.
Hello, my name is Bhavna Kakkar. I'm the mother of 3 boys who have either graduated from or are currently attending the Buckley School. I'm here as a parent who has experienced over many years the extraordinary impact Buckley has had not only on its students, but on the neighborhood and community it serves. When our family first chose Buckley, we were drawn to its mission of helping every boy develop fundamental skills, gain confidence, develop personal integrity, and experience the joy of learning. But what has kept us at Buckley, what I hope to convey to you today, is how deeply these values radiate outward.
Interrupt you for a second. You mute your YouTube. You have your YouTube on?
Or if you're not speaking, please also mute.
If you're not speaking yet, please also mute. Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Kakkar.
Of course, Buckley's philosophy of educating the whole boy is not limited to academics. It's about preparing boys to be responsible members of the world around them. And for this school, that world begins right here in their neighborhood. Buckley is woven into the daily life of the Upper East Side in a way that is truly differentiated. The area around East 73rd Street is a hub of warmth and community. There's an everyday sense of connection that makes the neighborhood feel safe, grounded, and human, something that is increasingly precious in a city as fast-paced as ours. Buckley's presence creates daily positive interactions that enrich our neighborhood, not just those of the boys at the school. Beyond these daily rhythms, Buckley boys are deeply engaged in service activities, food, coat, and book drives, fundraising events, and volunteer partnerships across New York City. These programs do not exist on the periphery. They are embedded into the life at Buckley and the boys' understanding of responsibility to support others beyond the Upper East Side. Buckley doesn't teach service as a requirement, but rather as a way of being. Buckley also contributes to the neighborhood economically and socially. Families stay and invest in this area because Buckley is a stable anchor. After-school programming and community events keep the neighborhood active. There is an atmosphere of community continuity. People look out for each other because they know each other. That kind of social fabric strengthens neighborhoods in ways that are hard to quantify, but easy to feel. And underpinning all of this is Buckley's emphasis on character, respect, kindness, accountability, and leadership. These qualities show up in everyday moments, and they are the result of a school that takes immense care in shaping not just strong students, but good people. For my family, Buckley has been a central and grounding part of our life in the city. The teachers and administrators know my boys deeply, not just how they learn, but who they are and who they can become. Each boy is truly seen and nurtured. That care echoes in the community because children who feel known and supported move through the world with greater empathy, confidence, and respect. I understand that the Board of Standards and Appeals considers many perspectives, and I appreciate the thoughtful work that goes into your decisions. My hope today is simply to help you see what Buckley means to families like mine and what it gives back, quietly but consistently, to the neighborhood it calls home. It's not just a building on East 73rd Street. It's a community partner, a neighborhood presence, and a place that actively shapes boys into the kind of young people who strengthen the fabric of the city. It impacts well beyond its walls, and our community is unquestionably better because it's here. I thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Paduano, how about that?
That's very good. Thank you. Good afternoon, esteemed members of the Board of Standard Appeals. I'm here to describe my experience having Buckley School as a neighbor for over 5 decades. My name is Nancy Paduano, and my husband and I live at 19 East 72nd Street. I've always been an active participant in my surrounding blocks, both as a place where I shop and a place where I am actively philanthropic. Presently, I serve on the Board of Fellows of the Weill Cornell Medical College, and also I'm a member of the Women's Board of the Central Park Conservancy, where I served as president from 2005 to 2007. I have fundraised for 2 local private schools and many small local charities, which brings me to the Buckley School. Both our sons attended and graduated in the 1980s to 1990s. Our 2 New York City grandsons attended and graduated in the 2010s to 2020s. I have dropped off and picked up boys at the school's various locations more times than I can count. I have witnessed firsthand the school's interaction with all of its neighbors. The Buckley School blends in with the blocks that include its buildings. There are no flags, banners, or signs announcing its presence. The school maintains its building facades and sidewalks. It follows rules of trash collection. The students come and go in an orderly fashion, each boy knowing his conduct reflects on the school and acting accordingly. At morning drop-off, the boys are admitted and greeted by a teacher. There is no loitering or congregating on the sidewalks. Out of respect for the neighbors, the boys are quiet as they move among the buildings. Teachers supervise street crossings, and lately I've seen a security person assisting the boys crossing Lexington. Whether it's first thing in the morning or after school, the boys patronize local eating establishments. When my grandsons entered Buckley, I was amazed to find the same Italian ice vendor outside the Hubble building. He is in his 3rd decade at that spot. The neighborhood was not always as safe as it is today. In the 1990s, the school initiated street patrol, which meant 2 parents in bright vests walked the blocks around the school for a couple of hours on either side of dismissal. Also, many local stores displayed signs indicating the boys could enter if they needed help. All dormant buildings offered the same safe havens. It seemed to work miracles, and the entire neighborhood benefited. In the last decade, those of us who aren't moving away move more slowly as we go about our business. I have never seen a group of Buckley boys not defer to our sidewalk space. It's heartening to know their manners extend beyond the school's watchful eyes. In conclusion, the best thing I can think to say about the Buckley School's presence in my neighborhood is that if it weren't already there, I would not know it existed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jim. Nicholas Stern, I believe, is next.
Good afternoon. Thank you, commissioners. I am a lifelong Manhattan resident. I grew up on the Upper East Side, and I have been involved in the Buckley School for 52 years as a student, for 9 years, excuse me, as a parent for my only son. And I've been active in the school throughout my life, as well as other nonprofits in Manhattan, where I've sat on various boards. As heretofore mentioned, a Buckley education is value-centered and has always put at first and foremost a sense of humility, a sense of putting others before oneself, a sense of decency, and a sort of an understated discretion in carrying oneself through life. It sounds a little bit antiquated in 2025, but these are still core values of the school. To that end, I have found in my adult years in dealings with the school, particularly having had a career in general construction and real estate development and public forums, including such as this in front of your members, that Buckley has always put its community due diligence before its community process. And I think you've seen some of that to date in dealing respectfully and with an open mind towards neighbors to the north, and other comments about just the lack of signage and discretion. Buckley always wants to be and has always wanted to be a good neighbor because we are a neighborhood school. And I think historically in various applications over the years for the expansions that Headmaster O'Melia has talked about, and particularly for this one, the school's approach is to look into every possible consideration for others as well as the needs of the school before going into public forums such as this. It's a sort of variant of under ask and over deliver. And I think Faith Hunter has spoken very succinctly about how the school does so much more with what it can. And obviously there are limits in Manhattan real estate and what we do, and kids walking back and forth 2 blocks in all seasons and all these things. So I think I put great faith in the school when they vet their design and consultant teams to come and assemble a project and come before you, that so much of a give and take has already been done in the background, so that when the school comes and asks the BSA for accommodations, that it's really done thoughtfully and not in a sort of aggressive ask for as much as we can and then settle back on some sort of compromise. The school is very honest, and what it would like and what it can get are different things, but more to the point, what is right for the community and the school, or what the school put in its foremost presentation. And I really hope that you consider that the team that has presented today has done so much of that today, and that further concessions, I think, are pushing Buckley back into corners where it can't do its job, and it's really thought these things very clearly through. So I hope you'll continue to listen and work with them. I know that they have great respect for the BSA, the city, and their neighbors, and that they are putting their most considerate, thoughtful, and community-minded feet forward.
Thank you for your testimony. Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to speak on this matter? Please raise your hand if you're in the room. No? Okay. Mr. Schnackenberg, how much time will you need?
I think we could do that offline. I think
No, just how much time will we need, and then we could set up a date.
We'd like to come back to the board as soon as you'll have us. And so we need, it sounds like we don't need to revise our plans. We need to prepare a figure, an illustrative figure and some narrative. We have a list of items to get to you, but we can have everything to you within a week. So as soon as you'll have us, we're ready to come back, and we'll submit 3 weeks in advance.
Okay. Is there anything any outstanding or something?
Any questions from any of the commissioners?
Is there seeker or something?
Oh, sorry, Ms. Matias, I believe the board is holding for the LPC approval. I don't know when the certificate of appropriateness will be issued. We'll brief you on that as well. We would ask that if the board is satisfied that LPC approval be a condition of the board's approval, but we'll only ask that if we have to, and we'll get back to you when we have a schedule on the C of A in our next submission.
Okay.
And Mr. Stern, my condolences on your late father.
Thank you very much. That's greatly appreciated. By the way, I did speak with him about this project. He's very concerned about his neighborhood as a neighbor on East 65th Street right up until his death and Thanksgiving. And he thought this was a wonderful opportunity, particularly loved the idea of having the youngest students under one roof. As you know, he spent a career in academia, and he thought that was a big cornerstone missing from Buckley, and that this project presented a tasteful and low impact solution to that decades-long dilemma of the school.
Thank you for sharing that, Mr. Stern.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Schackenberg, we'll get back to you with the dates. Is there like any timeframe? No? Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for their time today and in staff getting us ready for the hearing. Appreciate it.
Okay, take care. Okay, next item is item number 13, 2016-4340 BZ Volume 4, 13102C 40th Road, Queens.
Hello.
Anyone here with you today?
Should be my client, Harry Song.
I thought it. No. Okay, so I don't see, I see Mr. Fang Hu and Mr. Fuller there, so I don't see anybody there. Okay, oops, sorry. Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board, and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
State your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Sure. Dan Eggers from Greenberg Trog, representing the applicant. Happy New Year and good afternoon to the commissioners and Vice Chair Shibeta. We observed the review session this morning to respond to the questions and the comments. First, regarding the status of construction financing and whether construction financing is still targeted to close this month. In fact, I'm told it is targeted to close on Wednesday. So that is very much on track. Second, regarding the status of the violations, the stop work order has been lifted. The DOB's website shows there are still 2 open violations. The hearings for those violations are scheduled for March 16th and March 10th, respectively, at which time they will be closed of record. And lastly, regarding Commissioner Shetta's request that we provide photos of the interior of the site, I do want to point out that as part of the application submission back in November, there is a photo showing a bird's eye view of the interior of the site, which is page 13 of the photo submission, view 12. Obviously, we're more than happy to provide additional photos if that's insufficient, but I do want to point out there is at least one photo showing the interior of the site.
Believe it or not, I was about to tell you that I found one that showed the interior. I found it like probably 10 minutes ago. Yes, page 13 of the PDF.
Correct.
The interior of this. But if you can provide some from that, like that closer look, that would be helpful too. But this one is enough.
Sure.
Any other questions from the commissioners? And we can go to the public.
Okay. The screen to come up. Why is my screen so dark? Okay, the case that we're currently discussing is 2016-4340 BZ Volume 4, 13102C 40th Road, Queens. Should you wish to comment on this application, please dial 669-254-5252. Once again, that's 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 161-618-0955 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt after that, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to comment on this application. Excuse me. Why isn't it put any BZ cases? No, everything was for tomorrow.
Yeah, we have it.
Yeah. Okay, no one has raised their hands or called in.
Having heard no other concerns from any commissioner or any concerns from the public, I make a motion to close.
Motion to close, Chair Shabeta, Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Shetta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
you. Item number 14, 2018-151A, Volume 4, 6-05, 129th Street, Queens. Should be at least full of air.
And. Only thing?
Mhm. I guess those people are in. Did they raise their hands?
Yeah.
Cool.
Elise, any today?
What? Caroline?
Today?
What?
Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Okay, is anyone with, are you by yourself or was anyone with the team?
Caroline. That's why I keep saying Caroline.
Oh, Caroline. Okay.
You said you saw, I heard you say it to the one before that you saw her on the waiting.
Yeah, and there's a Mr. Fang. Is that one of your people?
Yeah,
One of your-
that's probably, she's probably signing on from his email.
Oh, and I let her in, let him in. Okay. You don't have to be sworn in. It's an A
Right.
case.
Okay. Is she here with us?
They're coming in. She's coming in.
Okay, I just want to make sure I have her because she's the architect and I'll do most of the talking, but want to make sure she clarifies anything.
Okay. Hello.
Okay, hi, Carol. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. How are you? Okay, so first, thank you so much for your comments. Commissioner Shetta, you're correct. The firm map, I will submit a corrected one. It needs to be corrected. And then we looked at the notes together from the guidelines and we'll add the standard FEMA note. The building's completely finished, as you probably saw in pictures, and we're not asking for any zoning waivers here. It was just, this was all triggered because DOB found that we had to change our curb cuts. So we do not seek any zoning waivers at all. And we will revise those notes. And then I just wanted to point out or explain kind of this, our situation here is even though we made some changes to the building, they're all as of right. The DOB asked us to come back to the examiner, back to the BSA because of the changes to the building, even though it's a GCL. And then because we were changing the curb cuts per DOB's request, then we had to come back and do an amendment to the board. So we're like stuck in this in between, and our client to get his 421A subsidies needs to be done with everything, at least have a TCO by June. So anything you can do to help us, we'd really, really appreciate it. And if you have any questions about any of that, we are happy to answer it.
Regarding the FEMA, you put the FEMA on two drawings.
Yeah, you're supposed to submit a separate map, and you are correct. It's the wrong one. It's from a different TCL application. I'm gonna submit the correct one.
With FEMA, one of them is redundant, definitely. So you can take off one of the two and just one of them and put the.
No problem. Sometimes we have it on the plans, but I also submit it separately just to make sure you get it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm just going to that one, trying to get my, oh, there we go. Okay, you have no more comments? Go to the public? We're still waiting for DOT. The case that we're currently discussing is 2018-151A case, volume 4, 6-05, 129th Street, Queens. Should you wish to comment on this application, please dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 161-618-0955 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to comment on this application. I don't see it. I was reading some text message from Senator or somebody. That's on some case. Oh. So no one is called in to raise their hands?
Being that there's no other comments from commissioners and there's no, and no comment from the public, I ask that we close this, I make motion to close.
Leave the record open for DOT?
Leave the record open for DOT.
Okay. Motion to close, Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Oops, 4. Okay. No other matters, standing before the board. We conclude the public hearing for January 12th, 2026. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's up. No. Oh, yeah, so. Just remind myself to. We have to do